Hello everyone and welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host Ross13 and today we are looking at the HGUC Gyan. This is one of the Gunpla kits that my wife got me for our anniversary, and yes, as you can see, we are back on the white background. Rodimus's evil influence has finally passed. Oh, I'm so sure. Anyway, I'm excited to show this kit off to you, but first, as always, we gotta take a look at the box. So, to start off, we got very cool illustration of the Gyan with its missile shield and its... I can't remember if it actually has a beam saber here or if it's supposed to be like a heat rod or something like that. They use a beam effect part in the actual kit, though. Going up against the actual Grandpa Gundam itself. In fact, I believe this is supposed to recreate their big showdown in Texas colony. So we got HG Universal Sentry, the original Gundam logo up there. YMS 15 Gyan, Principality of Zeon, Close Combat Mobile Suit. Then that stuff again in Japanese. Bandai 2016, so a little bit older, not as old as some of the seed kits we've been looking at. And interestingly enough, it is a red Bandai logo kit. So this was made before the switch over to the blue Bandai Spirits logo. Okay, on this side we have some write-ups about the Gyan, as well as some nice painted photographs. It should also be noted that almost everything in here is in Japanese, so this was just before, I believe, they started translating things. And we got number 197, BandaiHobby.net, YMS 15 Gyan, all that same stuff again. Hopefully you can see this. Then over here, more write-up about the kit, and this is probably about their climactic battle. Then we can't see that there's a yen price there. I can see that it's 1,200, it looks like. This was a gift, so I have no idea what they spent on it. But we have a sticker over that. Then over here we have our regular bluefin sticker of stickerness. Alright, that's enough of the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at this knightly figure. And here it is in all its Gyanly glory. And it looks pretty darn cool, I think. I know I tend to say that about most of my kits, but I have good things to say about this thing, so just expect me to gush maybe a little bit on this. I'm digging just the overall color scheme, the way everything's laid out. The construction on this is very cool, and we'll get into that more as we start looking at articulation and the features on this kit. But yeah, one of the big things that stands out is the color separation on this thing. So like the blue here, that's an actual plastic part. These little things off the elbows are actually a separate part. The blue here and the sort of bluish gray here are separate. In fact, really the only stickers you have on this thing are this white piece here, which I reluctantly added because I wasn't sure if it really needed it, but I decided to go ahead and throw it on anyway. And the mono eye sticker. Everything else is just separated out exactly how one would expect it to be. And I'd say it's all the better for it. Let's go ahead and take a look at articulation, starting with this very distinctive head. So the head and neck on this are kind of interesting. Instead of the usual sort of double ball joint system, it actually has a ball joint for where the head connects to the neck, and the neck itself actually connects via a hinge into the torso. So you can get very decent, basically looking up. It doesn't bend too forward. Also, with the way things are set up, you can kind of adjust it so that way it sits a little bit forward, but it gets everything flush down to the shoulders, which I think lines up more with how the animation looked. It does restrict his movement, but if you want to get a little bit better, you can tilt him back, and then that gives you full range of everything. Now, I will point out, I messed up here and I gouged the heck out of the sides here. I was trimming off the nub marks and just got a little too close, and it took off some of the plastic there. So something to be aware of. I'm not too worried about it because this isn't going to be like a contest piece or anything like that. I have some custom ideas. I don't know if I'm going to go through with them or not. We'll just have to see. I got a bunch of other customs that I need to finish first, right? So there isn't a whole lot of detail to talk about on the face, but that's kind of the way the actual suit was. And I do... Oh, focus. I do appreciate what they have going on here. It looks like sort of an old knight's helmet, or at least a version thereof. Also makes me think a little bit of like some of the bad guys from Kingdom Hearts. But, and again, color separation here. The inside part here, that is an actual sort of black grayish piece. And you just piece the helmet on around it. Even this little finial part is actually a separate piece. So if you wanted to have things painted kind of uniquely, there's stuff you could do here relatively easily. So that's something that I appreciate. Moving on to the torso. So we have some really nice movement here from a ball joint right in there, plus some jointing in the actual torso itself. So really nice ab crunch forward and back. You have in the shoulders a butterfly joint, and they did something neat with this. I don't know if I've seen this in other kits, or maybe I just haven't remembered it, but it's the standard HG butterfly joint, but they put a plastic part around it to keep it the same color as the rest of the torso, to just sort of hide it a little bit more. That's neat. I appreciate that. You got a ball joint going into that butterfly joint, and the ball joint is connected to a basically disc-like hinge, which allows for incredible movement. Then you have a bicep swivel that just straight peg into, or actually the peg is on this part, goes into the arm. Then the elbow is double jointed quite nicely with a little bit of parts reveal there. And then the fist is your standard HG ball joint, just going into a polycap wrist plug there. And it does allow for changing of hands, which it does have an extra one. We'll get into that in the look at accessories. For the waist and legs, we have a front skirt that can't move too much, but you still get pretty decent high kick. Let's see, can't move the waist armor too much to get it out of the way. And then you have double jointed knee for pretty decent movement there. A ball joint and hinge for ankle articulation. And you even have a toe joint, which is very interesting. You don't see that much in HD kits. And speaking of things you don't see much in HD kits, he's got a premium butt flap, as some reviewers call it. I showed this to my wife and made a comment about it, and she just laughed and looked at me a little bit funny. Had to explain to her that most of the time these things are just fused straight, with no extra movement on them. So altogether, this allows for some very cool posing. I think this kit came out during Build Fighters, and that was when they were kind of revisiting a lot of the older mobile suits, a lot of the mainline Gundam stuff, and were trying to do what they can to improve things. It's where we started seeing like the Revive line and sort of the things that eventually became the successor of that. Let's see, I have things so far out that he's having trouble balancing. There we go. That's pretty cool. He's just amazingly articulated, and he's just really fun to build. And in some ways, he's almost got like a quasi inner frame with stuff. The way the arm is constructed, you actually put the armor around a basically armature inside there. Same with the legs for the most part, though more so for the upper legs. So other than some restrictions here at the waist, which don't factor too heavily in unless you're trying to go for a super chorus girl thing, he's just very well done, and I was just super happy pretty much all the way through the building process. I dig this kit a lot. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at the accessories it comes with. Okay, so to start off, we got his shield. This is the missile shield. Some nice color separation on here with the red outside, gold center, and then the gray missile pod things. And the handle is even set up with some articulation, so that way you can bring it forward or store it on the side. Took a little bit of figuring out to get everything set up correctly, but it works quite nicely. And to attach it, you just put it through the fist and then sort of gently clip it into place. So you can have it equipped like that, or slide that back, rotate it forward, and then you have him with the missile shield facing forward so he can shoot missiles at you. Or you can just go bam, punch you in the face with a shield. I wouldn't want to be punched in the face with a shield. He also comes with his basically fencing weapon, and an extra hand. You can put this in just the regular holding hand, but he comes with a special hand that is tilted slightly and has extra articulation for the wrist, so that way he can hold it like an actual fencer would. As somebody who used to fence back in the day, I know this, and I always appreciate when you have jointing that allows for proper sword holding poses. So all we do is pop that out and then pop this one in. Goes in quite solidly. I'm probably not going to take that in and out too much because it is a polycap that goes in there, and I don't want to weaken that too much. So as you can see, you can tilt it down and up, and the usual articulation there. And it's a good overall package. I am digging him quite a bit. So let's do a quick comparison. The one that I'm sure you guys are probably wondering, we have the Gyan, which is a little bit bigger than him. It's also feeling a little bit more floppy right now. Or at least this weapon doesn't hold up very well. As you can see, he's a lot bigger than our Gyan. Of course, he's not actually based off the Gyan, he's based off the Jaja or Jar Jar or whatever. So it's kind of a apples oranges thing, even though this one was modified with the idea of the Gyan in mind. And I think actually the R Jar Jar was made with the combat data from the Gyan, something like that. But yeah, so it's a much bigger, bulkier kit. Here it is next to the Age 1 normal, so that gives you an idea of what it's like next to sort of a standard HG kit. And something that's probably appropriate if you've seen the first few episodes of the original Build Fighters. Here it is next to the Build Strike full package. Can't remember if he fought the Gyan with the full package pack or not, but it's kind of neat to see them together. The Gyan actually looks a little bit taller than him just because of the way the head is shaped. So yeah, as I keep on saying, this is a good kit. This is a very good kit. And if you have a chance to pick it up, I'd highly, highly recommend it. It's a fun build. The articulation on it is pretty phenomenal. And yeah, I just can't say enough good things about it. If you want this kit, get it. I mean, don't pay exuberant prices for it or anything like that. It is an HG kit, but it is a very well done HG kit. So yeah, that's been a review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Check the description below for links to my storefront where you can get official shelf space, t-shirts, and more. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.